So hello everybody, this is a special production of the Instructional Design and Learning SIG. We are a special interest group of Society for Technical Communication, which means we are the IDL, we are an SIG of the STC. And today we're going to be talking about a new exciting program that we're getting ready to launch under our student outreach umbrella. And this program is basically a student outreach article competition. It has been shepherded and lovingly developed by one of our members, Sylvia Miller. She is both the program chair and she's also an STC fellow and a very active member in our SIG. We're going to start with just a brief presentation about how did we get to this place, what is the program about, and then we're going to have some question and answer time. We're going to start off with what we think are the FAQs about the program, and then we're going to open up the floor to questions from the audience. Then once we get everybody's questions answered, and we'll stay here as long as it takes, then Sylvia is going to help us know what the next steps are and where to go to get more information. So I think everybody, we should put our hands together, reach up on the little menu in the Adobe Connect. Let's give Sylvia a big round of applause. Sylvia, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Vicki. I'm happy to be sharing with you, everyone, today about this exciting new program, the Student Outreach Article Competition. To give you a little bit of background information, about a year ago I served on STC Scholarship Task Force, which was formed to find out how scholarships were being done throughout STC, in the SIGs, the chapters, and STC. And one of the notes that came up, one of the things that we noticed, was that students earning scholarships didn't necessarily become members of STC. And we thought, that's too bad. And then, by the way, you probably remember that our IDL SIG did have a great scholarship program. We gave away more than $10,000 in about an 8 to 10 year program. However, STC ruled that SIGs can no longer give scholarships, and that has to do with the way that SIGs are funded through STC. And so we started thinking, gee, we've set aside this money. What kind of a program could we develop that would be attractive to students and give them an edge in the job market, that would introduce students to STC and to the IDL SIG, a program that would be a win-win for students and for us, STC and the IDL SIG, and what kind of program would result in new STC and IDL SIG members. So we came up with the Student Outreach Article Competition. Several of us have been working on this together, and the way the program works is that undergraduate and graduate level students submit an article on some instructional design topic. Our judges in the IDL SIG will be reviewing the article, and if the article is published in our SIG's newsletter called Ideal Design for Learning, the student is awarded a 1-year membership in STC and the IDL SIG, courtesy of our SIG. In addition, if with the student's permission, we can submit their article for inclusion in the Technical Communication Body of Knowledge, also known as the TC-BOC. If the article is included in the TC-BOC, the student would be awarded another 1-year membership in STC and the IDL SIG. So this really is, we feel, a win for students, and here's why. First, they can get their name in front of professionals in 3 ways. They'll have a byline in their article in the IDL SIG newsletter. If their article is submitted for inclusion in the technical communication body of knowledge, then they'll have a byline there also. In addition, on their LinkedIn profile, they can link from their profile to their article, and all kinds of things can happen there. You know, going for a job interview and showing them publication, that's just awesome. They will have a free introduction to their professional organization. I know I started out in teaching, and when someone approached me about joining the NEA, I thought, oh gosh, that sounds scary and expensive. So once I got in, I was happy that someone introduced me to the organization. And so in the professional organization, they can develop professional acquaintances, and they can take advantage of our mentoring program once they're employed. So it really is a win for students. It's a special win for academia-bound students. Many academia jobs are now requiring publications early in the career of an instructor, and I just learned this a couple of days ago from our member, Elizabeth Bailey, and I know she signed up for the webinar. Perhaps she'll be listening later on, but thank you, Elizabeth. Here's a quote that she shared with me, an ad from the University of North Texas. A job ad says, a record of effective research, publication, external funding, and teaching is expected. It doesn't say ideal or, you know, something that would give you an advantage. It's expected. Karen Kelsky writes that graduate students are told that publishing frequently and in traditional journals is key to landing a job. In many, if not most fields, it's now necessary to have at least one refereed journal article while still all but dissertation in that stage of the publication. So for those students who think they would like to be in higher education, this could be the start of their publishing career. Who knows? So now, why is it a win for STC and the IDL SIG? Well, it's going to provide us with fresh new thinking for our newsletter, and quite frankly, it will supplement our supply of articles. It has the potential for creating new additions to the technical communication body of knowledge in the area of instructional design. And students could become STC and IDL SIG members upon entering the workforce. So all by this introduction and incentive to submit an article and become familiar with STC and our SIG. That is just a win-win. So now let's talk about how the student goes about entering an article in the competition. We came up with an entry packet, and here are the contents. The promotional piece is a thumbnail sketch of the program's requirements and benefits. It can be printed and posted in a public place. So we really hope that professors, instructors at any level will post them or forward the email that has gone out. So the promotional piece contains the same information that is in an email that I sent out to various heads of IDL programs at the university and college level. In the frequently asked questions, we anticipated some of the questions we thought we would possibly get. It is a living document, of course, because questions will probably still keep coming up, and we'll keep adding to that. There's a list of possible article topics. They can select other topics that are not on the list, and we'll talk about that in a bit. The topics are divided up by ADDIE, ADDIE, which you're familiar with, and plus a few other categories. Then we have the contributor guidelines based on the guidelines used for submissions to the technical communication body of knowledge, but they're simplified. And it includes guidelines on fonts, writing style, format, lists, graphics, etc. The final checklist helps them check their submission before, make these final checks before you hit send. And then the submission form, of course, will be their contact information, biographical info, and article details. So, okay, that's a little bit about the requirements and how someone would enter an article.
So we were going to have a time where Robert and I would just go ahead and ask what we think are going to be the FAQs, the frequently asked questions. Robert, would you like to take the first two?
That's what I was planning to do, and I've been trying to talk here with my phone on mute. So, Sylvia, one of the big questions that I think is important is this first one. Can a student submit the same article more than once?
The answer is yes. The second submission, you would want to include some improvements you've made to the article since you first submitted it, and it just still cannot exceed the maximum length requirement, and we'll get to that in a second.
And what is that maximum length requirement?
It's 2 single-spaced pages or 1,000 words.
Great. Thank you.
So before we get to the next question, we have a question from the audience. Bo of Edinburgh wants to know, because we've talked about the LinkedIn and other social media piece of the win-win situation for students and for the SIG, he wants to know, are we going to publicize the winners on LinkedIn? And the answer is a resounding yes.
Yes.
We have Jamie Sagan is our social media leader, and then we have a number of us that also post on LinkedIn and repost on Facebook and Twitter. We also have our own website, so there will be lots of publicity because we're going to be so excited and we're going to be so proud when we get some winners. We'll probably post numerous times just to get the word out. We'll definitely tag the winners in the post. So there'll be lots of media buzz, lots of social media buzz when we get a winner or a group of winners.
I have made a note of this, so that's a great point.
So, and you'll be Googleable. Your name will be Googleable. And how will the judges weigh graphics and photographic content? I think he means content. And Jamie says she agrees. We will announce the winners through all our communication channels. So, Sylvia, you want to go ahead and talk about how the judges will weigh graphics? We have the 2-page requirement, or the not to exceed 2-page requirement. How do graphics figure into that?
We're asking students to submit their graphics separately. In fact, in the contributor guidelines, we tell them these are the components of what you will be sending us, and if you have graphics in your article, you will submit those separately. It would be up to our newsletter editor, Krista, as to where she would use those graphics, but if at all possible, we would use those graphics when we publish the article in our newsletter. And there are some other guidelines for graphics in the contributor guidelines part of the entry packet.
Got it, but you're not penalized for adding a graphic, right?
Definitely not.
Okay, great. So what about if I'm working on a project? Can my article be part of a team project?
Definitely. Let's see here. Yes, it can be part of a team project. You can, we can award as many as 15, so you can have as many as 15 entries, names on an entry, which is unlikely, but that is we set our maximum plenty high.
Good deal. So there's plenty of room for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how is a team project submitted, Sylvia? I know there are some special rules.
That's explained when you fill out the submission form. There's a place for your own bio. We have one contact person for the team, and then so that is the main biography that's provided, and then other ones can be added.
Great. So up next here, can you talk a little bit about the suggested topics and allowable topics and things like that?
We have a pretty expansive list of articles to choose from, but if a student wants to write their article on a topic that's not in that list, we provide them with an email address where they can get pre-approval before submitting their article.
Okay.
Great. So how many IDL SIG student memberships are we going to award this year? Do we have a limit?
We have set aside money to award 15 of them. We will be thrilled if we are able to award 15. I think Vicki and I were talking this week that this is 1.0 of the student outreach article competition. So
that's right.
We're doing our best to get the word out.
So do students have to be enrolled in an ID-related degree program? What if such a program isn't offered at my school, but I'm taking those kinds of classes?
No, you do not have to be majoring or enrolled in an ID-related degree program. You know, engineers do technical writing, tech comm majors. We're just going to try this in the beginning, accepting as long as they're ID-related articles, we'll just accept them from any major.
Well, here's a good question. If a student graduates and enters employment before being awarded the membership, do they still get the award?
They do. They do still get the award. They do not forfeit it. The cost of the student membership, which as of right now is $75, will be applied to the STC membership of the student's choice. If you're familiar with STC, you know that we have various types of memberships depending on whether you want printed publications and free access to all webinars of the year and so on. So the student's IDL membership will still be complimentary, and the student must be considered a student at the time the article is submitted. Okay.
There, I'll make my little man laugh.
Go ahead.
So how are we going to ensure that articles are not plagiarized?
Well, some members of our judging team have access to plagiarism detecting software, and
Okay.
so that's, we will be doing our best to make sure that no one submits an article that's plagiarized. Okay, so let's, I'm seeing some questions in the chat. Let me go a couple more slides, and then let's look at those questions and any other ones that people come up with. Now, of course, if we're incentivizing students to become STC and IDL memberships, well, they've got to have a reason why. Why would I possibly be interested in being a member of STC and the IDL SIG if I am a student? Well, technical communicators produce technical pieces explaining how to perform a task, how to do something better, how to succeed at doing such and such or whatever, even interpersonal skills and a lot more. Actually, technical communicators are closely aligned with professionals in instructional design because both involve showing, illustrating, teaching, helping, and guiding users in some way. In fact, once a technical communicator has a thorough understanding of a product or skill, they're often asked to develop both technical documentation and training pieces. So being a member of both STC and the IDL SIG could be very advantageous to students in the workplace. And actually, this is most of the reason why this IDL SIG was formed in the first place, because technical communicator members of STC were saying, hey, they taught me how to use the system, so now they're saying I can develop the training, and I don't know beans from apple butter about developing training. How do you do that? And so we developed the special interest group for networking and teaching purposes. So there's the poor guy trying to do all things for all people.
The multitasker.
Awesome.
It's your turn. If we have not addressed one of your questions, now is a good time. And I guess we could go to the chat.
That sounds good. So we've already talked about the LinkedIn and other social media. And then Krista has provided us a link to the newsletter. That way students or anyone curious can go to the newsletter and see what kind of articles we use. That way they can get some idea of style and content. And our style is kind of all over the place. We have a very structured academic style. We have a few in that style, and we have some in a very informal style. So there's lots of good content in our newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
There was a question, are we partnering with the academic SIG? And I think the answer is not yet, right? Is that right, Sylvia?
That's on my to-do list.
Right.
I just need to get some names, I guess, of people. I guess I would just go to the STC website that provides the email addresses of all the SIG contacts.
Right, and the program is new, so it will take us a while to spread the word and do the full rollout. We're just getting started, and this webinar is part of that, because then if people come back with questions, what is the program about, we can direct them then to the webinar. And Melissa's talking about our potential pace setter proposal, which means that other SIGs will know about the program and maybe they could have their own also. And there we go. Right, and Marianne, you're right. We've got a lot of room for publicity, and yes, definitely through the CAC and through our other, the STC main office, things like that. Yeah, and Bo, I definitely hear you about the networking. I have learned so much by just being a member of this SIG and attending the webinars and getting to know the people, and has definitely given my career a boost, for sure.
Yep, I would agree with you.
Best SIG ever. Okay, if we don't have any more specific questions, we can go on.
Okay, Bo is typing, so I was waiting for him to come up with another question here or comment. Or we can go on while he's doing that. There we go.
Oh, thank you so much. That's a sweet comment. He says, thank you for the time you all have given, generously given. It isn't popular, but I don't worry about the details of the goodwill. The goodwill is so clear. Yep.
Thank you. So to learn more and download the entry packet, here is our website. You can also email me at studentoutreach@stcidlsig.org. And by the way, if you are listening to this webinar and you are a student or an instructor, if you could go to our education page that you see the last link for, and make sure that your program is listed there. And if it's not, contact me at the email address there, studentoutreach@stcidlsig.org. We know there are a few missing, but you know, I'm sure new ones are being developed every year or so. It's a popular field. I will go ahead and show you. Here is what you'll see when you go to our website. And as you scroll down, of course, you'll see the link to the packet that you can download. And this is what our education page looks like, with lists of institutions that offer a certificate or a degree program in instructional design, instructional technology, educational technology. There are just a lot of different names for the majors that are out there now. So I do not have anything further. Are there final questions? Well, Vicki,
so it looks like, yeah, it looks like the chat is pretty quiet. Let's end on the slide that has the contact information, where to go for more information. People may have questions after they ruminate a little bit.
Okay.
And I just, one more time, we just want to congratulate Sylvia and the IDL SIG. You had a lot of support from Robert and Melissa and most of the members, I think, of the IDL SIG Volunteers Committee. And we just think this is a really great program. We're really excited about it. We want to go ahead and get the word out so that we can start reading some great content from some great instructional designers of the future. So Everybody, up in the toolbar, let us give Sylvia and the program a big round of applause. So Sylvia, take a virtual bow.
I'd like to echo all that. Thanks so much, Sylvia, for all the work that you put into this. I think it's a great program that gives students a great opportunity, and it will have great benefits for the SIG and everybody else involved with this stuff too. So thank you.
You and Melissa and several other people have also put tons of time into this, so it's been a group effort, and can't wait to get it going and start getting some responses.
Me too.
Great. And if you're still listening, I just want to put in a commercial for the SIG and our mini webinars. Our next webinar is going to be a virtual open house run by Jamie Sagan, our virtual open house queen, also our social media leader. It is November, help me out, 16th. It's during in the evening. And before that, Robert Hirschnaw is going to present yet unnamed webinar, but it's going to be about PowerPoint, something that we all use and all can use.
It's about
also
animations in PowerPoint.
Animations in PowerPoint. So you can sign up. Just check our website for dates and times and how to sign up, and they're all free. Did we mention they're all free if you're a SIG member? So I'm going to end the recording so that we can just chat offline. Does that sound okay?
Sounds
Thanks
great.
much, Vicki.
Thank
There
you.
we go.